Hey Shiv, it's been quite some time since we had our last recording. I think the last time we were talking about like what your experience was like, and I think you're still going through the process towards the end, towards the end. But now, congrats that you're finally, obviously, in the process of recovering as you've finished all of your chemo sessions, basically. So how are you finding that so far? Like, you're out of it now. You're finally able to slowly start transitioning back into normal life. And yeah, how is like actually post recovery?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the last time we spoke was about 8 weeks ago or 7 weeks ago. So yeah, it's been a while. Actually, we had a good conversation 2 weeks ago, but the recording was
No one knows that.
no one knows that. Well, now they know.
Yeah.
But no, look, I think recovery has been it's been interesting. Um, Finishing treatment and walking out of that whole thing and not having to worry about chemotherapy anymore. But I think, yeah, it's a weight off your shoulders feeling. But there's a lot of emotions to it. There's excitement, there's anxiety because you don't know. I mean, treatment for lymphomas are quite effective, first line treatments. But in saying that, nothing is guaranteed. So until I don't hear that, the no evidence of disease or the word remission, I think there's a lot of things to process in that time. But I think in the meantime, not having to worry about treatment is probably the best part of it. No one wants to no one would want to do chemotherapy voluntarily. It's one of the most harshest treatments out there in terms of the side effects it has. But the last episodes I've been sitting here with a beanie on, but I think this episode I wanted to sit here, actually show the effects of it, but not for that reason, but also for people that can relate to it. You're losing a part of you and who you were in the past. It's a new identity that you need to embrace. It's not. You never get your old self back. There's a lot of physically, mentally, new perspectives in life. But which is a combination of good and bad things. You lose your hair, terrible, but you gain a lot of wisdom in that process too about what's important in life and what's not. So yeah, I think sitting in that chemo chair taught me more in life than anything else, to be honest, which is weird to say, but I think that's where you have your thoughts, you have people around you that are going through it. You learn different experiences. You learn the fragility of life. You start to understand what's important, what's not. Relationships, how they matter, what doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, ego, humbleness, anger, the 7 deadly sins, how do they play into your life, all of that stuff. So yeah, post-treatment, exciting. It's exciting. Slowly getting back into it, gym, back to work, also thinking of things differently, eating pretty shit, but I think I've earned that at the moment. My diet will change at some point. But yeah, no, it's been a journey, dude. And I'm glad to have had people like yourself there throughout it. I think that made it a lot easier to get through it. I think I was quite fortunate to have not significant severe side effects in terms of fatigue, exhaustion, those sort of things. But in saying that, you do also cop the other side effects. But it's good to have the energy level to sit here and have conversations. And I'm great once again, like, thank you for being there over the last few months and sitting across and having conversations and being an ear to listen to. I think that matters more than people think, and the impact of that is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like that's like the standard minimum, a close friend would do.
No,
But,
of course, yeah, but
yeah.
also, in the process of that is you learn a lot as well about friendships, relationships, people. So, you say that's what a close friend would do, sure, but I've heard stories where close friends aren't like that, and that's unfortunate. So, again, it's logical for a close friend to be like there, but a lot of the times it's not like that as well. So I think we get trapped in this world of everything's perfect, and we expect. I think before treatment, I expected. I thought things will be, in terms of relationships, friendships, and stuff, would be very. It comes from people that you kind of least expect it, from what I've heard from people. So that's how it is. So yeah, no, thank you, and yeah, it's too humble for that, Wasif, to take that compliment.
Like I do want to touch on something as well that you mentioned, which
Yep.
is about like identity and embracing that. So like, were you able to go through that journey of like being able to accept this new identity of you, or like, because I remember we talked about this a long time ago, where you're talking about some footy player that said this quote, which was like, he's not that. I think he said he's not the.
Yeah, it was
footy-
Kalen Ponga. He
yeah,
says, "I'm not Kalen Ponga, the footy player.
Yeah.
I'm Kalen Ponga that plays footy."
Yeah, that's right.
There's more to it, and there's a lot like your identity. Did you have anything else?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, how's it changed your view of identity, and like, how have you come to embrace this like new identity of yours?
To be honest, I don't think I have, like fully yet. It takes time to really embrace it. I think once it all comes down to how things go at end of treatment checkups and stuff, right? I can't wait for that moment, in terms of, okay, that moment will then define my identity, because I need to work through that over the next few weeks, whatever it is. But slowly, I think it's just, I'm not Shiv the cancer patient anymore, or Shiv that's going through chemo. Like that's not who you are. It's a part of what I was in the last 6 months, and now I've got to transition back to, well, throughout the whole treatment journey, I've learned, again, the importance of, what does it relate, like how important are relationships, the fragility of life. I think we forget that. Like, what blew my mind the most about like treatment was, you're being infused and you're going through such a harsh treatment to save your body, but eventually your body is worthless at the end. Like, you're all flesh and bones, and you're all like, you're worth. The only thing that matters is your actions and how you make people feel. So a legacy part of it, right? You don't remember people for their body. You remember people for their actions. And that was a big moment for me as well. I think people know it, but people don't embrace it enough. And secondly was the fragility of life, was things can change in a moment. And so, within a week, like I know when we had the first conversation, I was like, dude, I'm being tested for lymphoma. And you're like, oh shoot, like this is serious. And within 2 weeks, I started chemotherapy, which was wild, and you're at the mercy of doctors, scans, and that sort of stuff. But things can change. I saw things change in front of my own eyes in that clinic, and that was something I learned as well. So those things all come together to form a new perspective, and how you view life, and how you view friendships, relationships, your career. How have I defined that in simple words of my own identity? I don't think I'll be able to do that for a while. It's something that you take steps towards. And the beauty of it is, ironically, I will say, is there will be fear of recurrence, and you've just had to live with such a big thing and fight it. But then also it's how much you've learned from that, and actually putting it into practice into your own life is just as important. Because there's no use in learning all of that and not putting it into practice. You can't go through that and not become a better person. But it happens. I think people deal with stuff like this very differently. There's no right or wrong way to deal with it. I think that's the sensitivity part of cancer and post-cancer treatment, is there's no right or wrong way to deal with it. I find everyone has their own way to deal with things. So, yeah, I mean, there will be a point where I can probably define it in simple words, but that was a very long-winded response to to identity in general.
No, that's understandable. I guess like because you're saying it's hard for you to accept, which is obviously understandable. But I guess which part of it you is it that you're denying or you're in denial of?
That's a really good question. I think the whole like I still can't believe I finished treatment. Yeah, like I'm still in it. I can't actually believe that I actually I had cancer, and I like it feels weird for me to even say that. Um, but also going through treatment, like it's all a bit of a blur. Like I don't remember. Like I've spoken about it in the past episodes, which you know, like in the past episodes about my journey, but it's all a blur. Like I can't remember what dates. I know the days I did it, but specific dates, no, which people won't remember, which is fine. But at times I'll have the hospital smell kick in randomly, and I'll just smell, and I'm like, oh man, this is like that bleach hospital smell. And the chemotherapy therapy clinic has a very distinct, has a different smell. So it's a it's a strange one. Um, there's a yeah that also my view on relationships and friendships. I think there's like you don't, without going too much into it, you don't expect things from people, and things happen, and you've got to accept it. And that's, you see the bad and you see the good and bad in people, and so coming to terms with the bad, because what you think is, I've gone through, it's like logical thinking, right? You have been diagnosed with cancer, you go through cancer treatment, you expect everyone to empathetic, look out for you, all of that sort of stuff. That doesn't happen in certain situations. It's happened in my own experience, but it's also happened, like, not just relationships, but with strangers. Like, people will see what you look like, and they won't even think for a moment to be a bit more empathetic. They'll walk right past, like they'll walk into you, right? Sydney City, literally. They'll walk into you. They'll look at you very differently. There's some people that look at you with pity and sympathy. There's some people that look at you with disgust. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, keep doing that, you dipshit. But that also, trying to think what else. I think those are the main things I would say that I would be probably in denial about, to be honest, at the moment. That stops me from going to that new identity. But in saying that, there's a lot of things I've also accepted. You've got, like, you need to make peace with, like, to counteract that, you need to make peace with yourself. And you need, like, regardless of people, whether people wrong you or life wrongs you, you need to make peace with that. And you need to find a way to forgive yourself for that, or forgive other people for that. Because it's not worth your mental energy or your bad energy, I would say, to focus on that aspects. There's so much more to life to look forward to than things that don't go well. Doesn't mean you can't whinge and sook and feel bad about what's gone wrong, but it's just moving on from that quickly. You need to be able to do that, I find.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, you don't really have control of how people will view you or perceive or behave against you.
Exactly.
You could put boundaries and restrictions against them, and you could hope that they will listen and just respect that. But that is the unfortunate truth, that you just don't have control over that. That you
Sure.
only have control over your own behavior and perceptions and things like that. So yeah, I think it's like important to surround yourself with the right people, which will support and understand your situation, of course,
For sure.
and just distance yourself away from people that just don't respect it.
For sure. And I think that just matters. That's just overall life as well. And I think it's also accepting that things will go wrong in life. I think a lot right now for me, like, it's yin and yang, right? With the good comes the bad. And we're so focused on making everything good, we're not prepared for the bad at times, which there's an argument to that, like, bad things shouldn't happen in general, but that's just how life is made, right? Because you need to go through bad and suffering to actually learn from that and become a better person in experiences. there's different spectrums of people that you come across, that people have suffered their entire lives. And there's people that have gone through life bruise free. It happens, but they've all got their different types of sufferings in that. Like the fragility aspect of it. The person that's gone through a lot more will be more equipped to handle the tough situations compared to someone that's gone through life without experiencing bad situations. And I'm sure people do. No one, whether you're rich or you're poor, you're wealthy, you're successful or not, you are going to go through bad times. It happens. Whether it's business, whether it's health, whether it's families, relationships, it's bound to happen. It's just a matter of whether you're equipped to handle that and accept that. And unfortunately, some people aren't, and some people are, and you see the consequences of that.
Yeah, like I think like the people that aren't able to accept it are always in a constant battle amongst themselves, whereas the people that have like are not in that, they're in a different battle, but
Yeah,
they're not mostly battling against themselves every single day because they've accepted, it's part of life. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think with treatment, it was just a matter of, it's ironic. I say it's denying, like it's denial, but you've got to do it. And I think a lot of people will say, like people that go through chemotherapy will probably agree, is you're just in the go. Like you don't actually have time to sit and really think a lot as well. Like it's next appointment, it's one appointment after the other, like you might feel, and with treatment, you feel terrible for like 5 or 6 days. And then after that you feel okay. And you're like, okay. And then you have to go. And then the hardest thing is you have to go back and go through that. You know what you're going to feel again. So you have to go through it and do it again. And then you have to do it again. And then you have to do it again and again. That's, it's a different, but you don't have time to think about that. You've just got to go and do it. Like it's either you do that or you die, So what choice do you have at that point? You don't have a choice, and a chemotherapy is literally, it's either the body dies first or the cancer dies first. That's the way people put it. Like it destroys you or it destroys the cancer before it destroys you. Thankfully a lot of like people do come out of it on the other side. Well, some people don't, unfortunately. And that's, it's an unfortunate reality for many. And it's hard for me to even say, what can you do? You've got to choose the best outcome at that point, and the best outcome is for you to be there. And it depends on where you are in life, whether you want to see your kids grow, your grandkids grow, or see yourself blossom in life. Whatever it is, you've got to make that tough choice, and you've got to do it.
yeah. Like speaking on that as well, like what helped you be able to survive through that? Like
The treatment,
treat that. Like what? Yeah,
I think just looking forward to doing things is a big one. I think being young, you sort of tell yourself, you don't want to die this way, or you don't want to go out this way. You need to, like, it's like, it might sound weird, but it's like, I've got I want to do podcasting. I want to do this. I want to be a part of it. That keeps you on. I want to work. I want to be a part of something bigger than myself. I want to be a part of a bigger cause in life. That helps. Then there's traveling. I want to see the world, different parts of the world. And I want to give myself the opportunity to do that. Even as simple as experiencing different video games. Like I promise you, like it might sound basic, but the Battlefield 6 beta came out during my last round of treatment. And before my last round, and I went, oh, hell no. Like I will do everything I can to push myself to be okay, to play this game when it comes out. Like, and I hope I get, like, again, it's out of my control because no one knows what your destiny is, right? But just mentally knowing there's things coming in the next few months, GTA 6 next year, big one, Ghost of Yoti in October, video games one. But biggest one is being able to come see your friends and family in a better way, in better circumstances. Everyone's in a sort of sad, empathetic state with you, which gets annoying for me personally after a while because everyone's like, oh, a bit too empathetic. I just want to be treated normal. Like, talk to me normally. Don't talk to me like I'm a normal person. You know, like I get that I'm going through something drastic, but let's not dramatize it and be extra with me. Like, just speak to me normally. That's who I am. And that's what I appreciate about you. Like, you just spoke to me normally. Your understanding, of course, if I couldn't do an episode, that's different than like, oh, like constantly. Like, I don't need that. I don't want that. I hate that level of pity. I didn't need that at that point. So yeah, those are the sort of things. It's like looking forward to, and I think just redefining your values and your purpose as well. Like, I wrote down, like, during treatment, that came as I thought about, like, okay, like, what are my key values now? What is it my purpose now? What is something that I look forward? Like, how does this align to what I'm looking forward to? And it sort of goes deeper, like a step deeper, like, relationships, friendships, interactions, legacy, purpose. Those are those are the things that I sort of thought about more deeply.
So it's like basically hope, having some hope and then some vision of the future. That
You summarize it really well. Yeah, pretty much. And the sad thing is there are people in that clinic that don't have that. So I think I was fortunate to have that hope because I had something again that has has high success rates of it being treatable. You don't put all your chips on that and say everything's fine. Of course, things can go wrong in the process. There's a lot that can go wrong. But yeah, it's the hope. Like, and I think that's everyone holds on to a level of hope in their life as well. It's not just treatment. It's whether it's a business but without hope, you can't move forward.
So there's nothing to move forward towards if you have no hope.
Exactly. So there's a lot of it's a very strong feeling, I would say, hope or concept. I don't know how to define it.
Probably say it's concept, maybe.
Concept,
there's underlying feelings under it.
Yeah, it's just something that's very. I don't think people talk about it as much. It's a big one. I think it is.
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Because it adds fuel to your purpose and your vision. Yeah, but yeah, you summarized it well.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. No, and I guess also you say a lot of it's led to some things you just don't have control of. You have to accept it, and it's up to destiny. So obviously, how important would you say faith was in all of this, and how it's changed your perception of faith and everything? Would you say you've become more practicing spiritual, or what?
For sure, more spiritual for sure. More practicing. For sure. I think there's an element, and it's different for everyone. For me personally, I found having the concept of God and protection and a higher sort of not authority, but a higher figure that's going to protect you and get you through it. It is a big part. It adds it gives you a good level. It gives you strength, I would say, to conquer your battles and what you need to go through. That was helpful for me, and I think faith is whatever you want to believe, however you want to believe it. It's up to the individual. For me personally, faith was important throughout all of this because there's an element of hope on that, and then you're sort of grateful for a lot of things in life. And I think that's one thing about cancer patients and people that go through treatment is you become you find the silver lining more on things. You look for the good in people and the good in things rather than the bad. You could be in the worst situation, but you say, oh, but at least I could do this. And you're like, but dude, you're going through this. And it's yeah, I know, but there's also an element that I need to be grateful for. So I think I think at times when you're at your lowest point, or you think you're at your lowest point, that's where you start to be you show more gratitude, which makes sense because who would be grateful for everything when they're at the highest? No, naturally you just wouldn't be, right? Because you don't go through those feelings of, hopelessness and those sort of things when you're at your highest. You're living life at your highest. You don't even think about that. You're enjoying the euphoria, the dopamine, the feeling good, all of that stuff. You don't sit back and reflect. And I think that's where the most important bit is, where you have to be more grateful, is at your highest point as well. Because you've been blessed at that point and you've been fortunate to experience something so great at your highest point, right? But that's not going to last forever. and you have to firstly like live in the present and embrace it. And not saying you shouldn't, I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy or enjoy your success. You should, and you have the rights to. You really should. But there's a moment where you need to sit back and have a bird's eye view and go, right, like I've been fortunate to be able to do this. You know, how? Well, I'm grateful that I was able to, like, I'm grateful for having a good, like, what are the things that you were grateful for during that whole journey, for example? Or, you know, what are the things that could have gone wrong that went well? Reflect on that. You know, there are little things that you should look at when you're at your highest point, and know that things could turn out differently as well at that point. But yeah, like the aspect of I think it made me more, like, the aspect of gratitude helped when I became, like, when faith was, like, when my faith became stronger, because you start to appreciate things a bit more.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Okay. So gratitude, you'd say, was obviously something that obviously helps, and it makes you more, makes you have more of a positive outlook. Like, as
Yeah.
in positive, look at things, focus on more of the positive as opposed to like the negative. So
Yeah, like exactly right.
more
Like
optimistic in some sense.
It's interesting because, like, during treatment, like I went, 3 days of treatment, and then I did a photo booth event the next day, right? And if you tell someone that, like, normally, like, if someone standard, you say that, they're like, they wouldn't even be able to process that, right? But for me, when I woke up that morning, I went, dude, my hands and feet work. I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel as nauseated. I have decent levels of energy. I get a bit of I'm out of breath quicker. Fine. I can sort of push myself a little bit. Like, these are the things that I've got functioning. There are people that unfortunately are disabled, or they're in a wheelchair, or they're in a worse position than me. And, I'm in a position where I can do things. So why not do it? That's sort of my motto every day is, if your hands and your feet work and your brain works, you have the ability to conquer the world and yourself. And you should. There's a lot of people that would give up so much just to get what you have at this point. So why waste it? And that's what it taught me, what that chemo chair taught me, was there are people out there with much better health than me that are wasting their lives. So do I want to be that, or do I want to be something different? You make a choice.
No, that's well said.
So you're right. Yeah. Silver lining. So, like, you become more positive in this. You try to look for positives in everything. And that was just one example. Another example was, I was on an exercise bike during treatment, was walking long distances, and my hands and feet work, man. My heart works, my lungs work, not as effectively, but they still work. Still alive. Like, I can do something. And that's what helps getting through treatment is you set standards for yourself. I think I spoke to you about it at some point. Like, you set a new baseline for yourself, and you'd be surprised how much the human body or your mind can process, but also push itself. Like, I think that was a big moment for me where, and again, like, fortunate that that I wasn't exhausted and throwing up frequently and all that sort of stuff. But in saying that, like, it was like, dude, like, I'm just placing limits on myself. Like, I can go for a walk, so I'm going to go for a walk. And then you come back from the walk and you're like, I just did a long walk. Like, it's a new baseline. Oh, I'm at the gym cycling. Oh, I'm at the gym doing HIIT training. Oh, I'm at the gym lifting now. Like, it's new baselines over time where you sort of tell yourself, okay, the only limitations that I'm placing is on my mind right now. Is my mind telling me? Physically, if you can't do it, that's a different case, right? That's fine. And there were days where I physically couldn't do it. Like, I'll admit that. But there were much more days that I could do it. And so why not do it, So, yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, like setting new baselines. So I guess, like, that's what you're doing mostly, like, as in now.
Yeah, post-treatment.
Setting new baselines or goals to work towards.
Well, I was at the gym yesterday. I'm super sore today. Like my chest and shoulders are absolutely killing me. It was a good workout. I was on an assault bike for a bit, but yeah, like did 8 intervals of different types of trainings and hit, and seeing my heart rate, um, sort of the drop in the heart rate and the increase is what you want to see, that variation in your heart for effective hit training, just to see if your heart functionality is good, because your heart needs to be able to adapt. Your heart's a muscle, right? So you can't you can't work out and your heart rate be absolutely high the whole time, unless you're sprinting or running for like 30 or 40 minutes straight, different case. But if you're doing a sort of training where increasing your heart rate and you're resting, you want your heart rate to drop. And that's really one of the most important things that I've sort of looking for during treatment and post-treatment is, you get exposed to like doxorubicin, which is one of the most cardiotoxic chemo drugs. I'm just saying the name makes me nauseated. It's red. They call it the red devil. I call it the red angel because it kind of saves you. It's most effective. It's one of the most effective chemo drugs, but I can see the devil part of it because it is so toxic, causes hair loss, you pee red. Yeah, it's not good. And it causes cardiotoxicity. But again, things like that, you just want to, what's in my control? Well, see where my heart is at, like my cardio health. And yeah, like going back to like baselines, it's sort of you set new standards for yourself each time. And I think I said it, like you celebrate those little wins. Like yesterday I had a really good workout. That was a little win, Now I know a new baseline, what I can do. I can do a bit of bench, dumbbells, flies, shoulder press, assault bike. I can do all of those. What's next? Okay, let's do cable flies. Let's do different types of workouts where you're working out different things. New standard. All right, let's now do swimming. New standard. Now let's do a little bit more running. New standard. And it's over time you're like, oh shit, it's just your mind. I don't think people realize that, like, until you actually have to go through it. Like David Goggins, perfect example, is like it's all in your head. Like there's one quote he says, and I'll try to find it. He's like, your mind, it was something where it knows the exact time to arrive and screw you over. So like I'll try to find the quote. It was really well said. But it's like, let's say you're in bed and you want to get up at 5:30, right? What's the only thing that stops you?
It's my mind.
Right? And it knows exactly your weakness. What is your weakness? Oh, you want the extra hour of sleep, or you hit the snooze button. It's your mind that arrives at the most perfect time to stop you from doing what you want to do. And honestly, it is so true. It's your mind. Like, it's incredibly true. It's all, I don't want to say it's all in your head because it's the wrong way to phrase it, but if you can find a way to sort of battle that in your own ways, it's a very powerful thing. And it's not about taking drastic steps, which I've learned. It's about the compounding effect. Like during the whole treatment, I don't know how I've got through it, but it's sort of like, if you think about superannuation, for example, right? Or superannuation, your employer just puts money in. 11.5% is the new 12% is the new, whatever it is.
Yeah, something around then. It's
a pretty significant number, which is good. You don't see it, right? But it's just a little bit, and then all of a sudden, after 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is, you look at it and you're like, oh, like I've got a really large balance. You don't think about it, and it's those little things in that process where throughout that is what makes it work, right? Like compounding interest, but the compounding effect of like chemotherapy, best way to put it. You get through treatment, you celebrate those little wins, but it's just a day at a time. And the big, like once you get through it, you get to the end and you see like I wrote down the hours of active treatment I was in, 24 sessions, over 40 hours of active treatment, 121 days from start to finish, multiple hospital visits, over like 30 blood tests in the process, being pricked 100 times, needles, tests, scans. You put all of that in numbers and you're like, how do I get through this, right? How? If you write down all those numbers at the start, you're like, that's it, like GG. Like, and it's scary. It's a very scary thing, but a day at a time, a day at a time, a day at a time. And you get to the end, you're like, wow, and that just applies to every aspect, like whether it's workout, your diet, little things. I think it's just taking it a day at a time and standing new baselines. And what was the other one? New baselines, day at a time, and celebrating your little wins.
No, that's pretty good advice because like one of the biggest challenges I could imagine in that, and this is something people like, I'd say even like normal people have. Like for example, they reach a high in their life or they reach a good point in their life that they're content with. So like I guess some like a bodybuilder, they were like shredded, ripped at some point, then they lost it. Could be an accident or something happened, and then now like they're in a constant like they keep constantly thinking about the past. They keep comparing themselves to the past. It's like, I guess for yourself, it sounds like you've overcome that in a way because you're more so looking at it from where you were at the time when you were going through chemo and where you are now, and you're trying to be like, oh, these are like new things that I'm relearning or basically progressing through, like being able to go to the gym, being able to go for a walk, being able to improve my heart rate, or like VO2 oxygen level or something. So like you're taking it at that, like you're sort of overcoming that battle of the past, comparing yourself constantly by just accepting or also setting up new baselines and goals for yourself and currently and progressing through that.
Yeah, I think, perfectly put. I think it's, like to that point, like also, and like, I think the situation I'm in is a bit unique, because it's sort of like, if I can get through all of that, what stops me from doing other things? And the moment you ask yourself that question, there's something in your mind that just clicks. Like you're just a rocket at that point and you just want to do more and more and more. Again, it's different for everyone. For me, that's what's helped. Why has it helped? Well, I'm young. I'm fit. No, not much underlying health issues. I don't have major stresses in my life at the moment, right? This isn't advice to people that are going through cancer treatment and post-treatment. It's not. I would never tell someone in post-treatment, me personally, I'm not saying you did that. I'm saying me personally that, it's, you need to find new baselines. You need to go work out. You need to do this. Like there's different levels of progress for everyone, which is the beauty of it, right? Because everyone's journey is very different. But to the standard person that hasn't gone through that adversity, that level of adversity, and like what excuses do you really have at that point, right? You really don't. Like you really don't. You have every reason to make better choices, so do it. If people, and I've seen people, like if someone that comes out of treatment and someone during treatment is pushing themselves to set new standards, you can set new standards for yourself too. There's no excuse. There's literally no excuse at that point. Like you hear a lot of cop-out reasons from people. That's fine. You want to rationalize it in your head and accept it, you can do that. But it doesn't objectively make it right. That's subjectively it's right. Objectively it's not. Objectively it is celebrate your wins, set new standards, and take it a day at a time. That's objectively what you need to do to conquer anything. Like you're working on Vitara at the moment, which we'll talk about separately in a separate thing because I'm actually very keen to know more about it. But you didn't just go out there and start building this from day one, right? It was like, we can speak a lot more about your journey, but I'm assuming it's those principles, day at a time, celebrate the little wins, and just set new standards. That's how it becomes. That's sort of project management, agile methodology too, in a way. Like set new standards. Like, deliver quick, fail quick, learn, rethink it. Like that's how it works, and that's sort of life as well. Like go in, fail. Like yesterday, I went to the gym. I can't bench more than 30 kilos. Fail, fine. Learn quick. Let's build from that. That's just one aspect, right? Or you're building an app. Release it quick, get the feedback. Don't roll back the changes. Just improve on those little features over time. That's how it is, right? But don't spend 3 years trying to perfect one thing, because that's not like, how is that effective? You know, waterfall, GGs. You know, speaking to you, Australian companies that love transformation projects in waterfall, geez. But but you know, it's just like, if you really want to apply agile methodology to cancer treatment, you probably can. You probably can. Like, not cancer treatment, sorry, but to get through, like, in the process of how you want to get through it. That's how it helped me. It doesn't have to help you. This is all my journey and my speaking of it, you know. So yeah, like, what was your question before? I feel like I've got an absolute vent. Like,
No, absolutely. I actually absolutely love that. I'm gonna take that and keep that in mind now.
Yeah.
Celebrate your wins.
Set new standards. New baseline standards.
And then do it a day at a time.
And fail.
Day at a time.
Fail quick. And fail quick. Like, know what you can do and what you can't do. Like, during my treatment, when I finished, I did lawn mowing 4 days after. And I was out of breath. Absolutely out of breath. I'd push for 5 minutes. I'm out of breath. I'm just like, I can't. So I knew at that point, I can't push myself too much. Like, my lungs are still probably recovering from bleomycin and vincristine, which was the last day. You probably know what that is. The 2 chemo drugs. Very, very, very effective, but very poisonous as well. So, yeah, like, again, okay, well, I know day 4 I can't do that. So let's give myself a rest. All right, well, it's been a week now. Let me just do a bit of a run, see how my lungs are. Let me just do a bit more. Now I can push a lawnmower for 40 minutes straight. Perfect. New baseline set. You know, so you actually, like, to add to that, you actually want to fail quick as well in certain parts. Like, and it's about just pushing yourself a little bit. It's like, can I do this or can I not do this? Or it might be different for Vitara. You might just want to get it out, get fit, whatever it is, right? Like, but from a health perspective or gym perspective, push yourself. Can I do it? Can't put gym. Okay, I can't bench that. That's fine. I've learned that just now. How do I get there? Well, just there's other ways to get there. But, you know, you can't sort of like, if I think about it from a treatment perspective, you can't fail quick with treatment, because if treatment fails, then you're fucked. But in general, like, it's just, you know, exercise is known, it's well researched. Exercise is known to really help individuals throughout their treatment. Doctors recommend exercise. A lot of benefits to it, like, you know, your cells regenerating, your bone marrow. Helping, like, protein synthesis and that sort of process helps your immune system as well. So a lot of benefits to it. Not a doctor, not an expert, but there's a lot of research papers that dictate that. And from my experience, that helped. Yeah, like, it's incredible. I think it's super incredible stuff. No, you know, I think there's one. If I want to talk about relationships, sorry, did you have something to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, no, it's really well put.
There was one thing that you said to me 2 weeks ago at the gym that I really wanted to talk about. Like, this is the super quote. I think if anyone told me what is the quote of life, I want you to say that quote. I'm not going to own that quote. I want you to say it, because it is so incredible. And I think it applies to every aspect of what you do and what we do.
Yeah, I think we we're talking about relationships at that time, and we're talking about, like, how life is imperfect.
Yeah.
And we're just like, sometimes when it comes to emotional decisions as well, or there's emotions involved, you could argue for and against things, right?
Yeah.
So I think when we were talking about it, I was just like, oh, it made me think that, like, sometimes there's like no right or wrong. It's more about, like, what consequences are you willing to sacrifice for and live with, actually.
You have, and because I know I was, like, just venting and talking for like 20 minutes straight or 10 minutes straight at the gym. And when you said that, do you remember my reaction to it? I'm just like, no, like, it is everything I have just said over the last 45 minutes can be summed up to that. To that quote. Say it again. No, seriously.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. It's the consequences that you're willing to accept
and sacrifice for and
And
live with.
and sacrifice and live with.
That's really life, and that could really be bitter. Like I would say, if I was to really describe life, it's just bittersweet.
Yeah.
In short,
Yeah.
like you're gonna have moments where it's gonna be bitter, it's gonna be bad, you're not gonna enjoy it, but you're gonna have moments that are sweet, that are worth living for, and worth going through those bad times for.
Sure.
That's how I sort of see it, to be honest. So, and that's why I say like, yeah, right or wrong. Like the thing is, especially with emotions, like it's very subjective. You know, like it's really up to you. Like if you're like after considering all of the consequences and things, like is this something that I'm willing to like give up parts of myself for? Because you will, to be honest. And is this something that I'm willing to live with? Like, and if that is something that you can say yes to, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Mm.
And there are going to be moments where you look at currently like, oh, this was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. But you look back in hindsight later down the line and be like, oh, it's probably worth I went through this mistake or I failed fast.
For sure.
Because I was able to gain this wisdom and now I won't repeat it when I can't, or when I can't afford to repeat it in the future.
Yeah.
Because I might be in those situations. I have
That's
family and stuff and then like I can't do it. I can't take the risk.
It's perfectly said. I think it's so simple, but it just applies to everything. What life is, and there's like people will say, "Oh, but I can't do this, but I can't do that." The decision, again, like you've been clearly told, there is no right or wrong decision. It's just the consequences you're willing to live with and sacrifice for, which is it's just incredible. Like it's so simple yet like it can be summed up. What is like if life can be simplified into a quote and how life is and how people live, it's that. Like literally.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously there's universal truths and like rights. Like obviously you shouldn't go out and
Of
steal
course.
and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
but
if you murder someone,
Yeah.
then the consequences,
Well,
what are the consequences?
Again, it's just like before you even did it, it's just like, are you willing to go through those consequences? And is
Yeah.
that something you're willing to sacrifice part of your life or
Exactly.
whatever your identity for? And if you probably stopped and thought about it, you're probably like, oh, it isn't.
It isn't.
But
yeah.
then
But the emotions get
the
over.
emotions get over it.
Yeah.
So like, again, that's sometimes even like I these days just apply that quote. I'm just like, okay, this is such a big deal. I mean, whatever decision I'm making, I'm just like, is this something that, what are consequences short term and long term? Is this something that I'm willing to sacrifice for? Like, what am I sacrificing? My identity, my family, or like time, money? What am I sacrificing here? Is this something that I'm willing to sacrifice for how long? Or it could be lifelong. So like, am I willing to do that? I'm like, no. Then the answer is simply no. That's it. If it's like, I don't know, the way I concluded this is like, no. Like if I can't give an answer yes or no, if I don't know, the answer is no. It's that simple. If the answer is yes, then I say yes. That's it. Because some people would be like a bit like 50-50 and it's like, no, there's no 50-50. Life is clear cut. It's yes or no. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
You
how
shouldn't
you
be able to know. Yeah.
yeah, that's how you sort of make, I'd say, decisions that you'll regret least, like least regretful decisions, and you just make decisions faster that way,
And
as opposed to
I think a big aspect of life is you need regrets. You need the feeling of feeling bad and crap about decisions you've made in the past. You need it. Everyone has it. Everyone, like there is not a single individual out there that in their life has not made a decision they regret. It is inevitable. It happens. There's mistakes. There's learnings, but you need those regrets, man. Like you need it. So yeah, like that's why like the most important aspect of that quote is like right, wrong, consequences. Right, wrong, consequences, sacrifice. Like there are wrongs and you need to accept there's a wrong. And if you're in denial about your wrong, there's no saving you. Like you can be in all in denial, but you're going to cop the consequences of it. Like you want to drink alcohol, like as an example, like flood yourself with alcohol and drown and kill your liver in the process. Sure, it might be the right decision for you at that point. It's a wrong decision objectively, but pick your poison. I think at times as well is a very important thing. Pick your poison. Like what like that abusive relationship you're in, pick your poison. What are the deeper issues? Are you insecure? Do you think you're not worth it? You know, there's more to it. Why is this person allowed to have so much control over your life? And it's very complex things, right? Like abusive relationships can be, kids might be involved.
Stockholm syndrome, like
family dynamics.
Complex, yeah.
It's not about victim blaming, you know, but there are aspects to it where it's unfortunate that it happens to people. And like sometimes people just don't realize it, and it's sad. It's very unfortunate. But yeah, I think I just want to bring that up because it's just powerful, and I think people should hear it. I heard it and I was like, oh no, like this is amazing. Like this is something that you just don't come across. Like there are moments in your life where you just remember where you were, exactly what was said, and you're like, yep, that's incredible. Like I'm walking away with that. And if someone asked me what is the most famous, like what is the quote you live by or thing, I would say Wasif's quote. That it's just really well said.
No, thanks. Yeah, I'm sure someone's said it in the past, but
No,
in different language. But
haven't
yeah,
heard it. Haven't heard it.
but
Deny
no.
it. Haven't heard it. Who said it? You own it. Put a patent on it. Sue them if they use it. Can you imagine?
That's funny.
What's happened over the last 2 weeks though? Sadia Khan.
Yeah,
we can edit this out. We can edit this out.
Well, speaking of, like I guess online coaches.
Yeah.
What's
Sadia Khan? You've been a naughty person.
Yeah, honestly, like even beyond her, there's so many online coaches these days, which just honestly, like they live very hypocritical lives. To be honest,
I don't even know what to say to that because it's true. They live very It's perception. It's like you. I mean, again, I think like they don't have strong values on who they are. They don't know who they are. That's the issue.
By they, you're talking about online coaches?
Online coaches, yeah. They don't know who they are.
Well, by the way, it's not to say all online coaches are bad, but
99% of them are ass.
Majority of them. Yeah.
I've learned more about life wisdom from Tim Dillon.
He's not even trying.
So I'm saying, like, I've learned more about. No, seriously, like, just he's like, I don't want to go on a tangent, sidetrack what you were saying before, but like I will say, like, I've been a huge advocate for this guy over the last 2 years, like massive advocate. And I think during treatment, if I was to look for humor and what I'm just tapping your leg, sorry.
No.
If it was humor, like what I wanted to get through was like what helped me get through treatment as well was humor, I would say. So sort of answering back to that first question you asked me, like what really helped you? Well, those were things, but the fun things as well, like humor, being my old self, funny, and comedians, big time, like Tim Dillon show, like all his episodes in the past. I was like, I'll replay all these episodes again, so very helpful. I was sitting in that clinic listening to his episode 300 with Ray Calm, the bonus. Like I've subscribed to his Patreon, but no, like genuinely, I think I've learned more about life from him. I've learned about life from him than I would from online coaches, because like you got to listen to the show because you learn it's peak human behavior at times and the stuff he goes on and about. And sometimes it's just, it might be rubbish. I don't care what people say, but I think you learn more from people like that in a way as well. Like, I mean, I'm not saying they give the most perfect life advice. I'm saying you take away, like you think about it a bit more and you go, okay, like that's interesting. But no, I would say I've learned more about life. I've learned more about life than I would from online coaches. Like Sadia Khan sitting there going, the psychology of women is that they would do this and they would do like, whilst you're literally banging a married guy, like you're a side piece to a married guy, and then you brag about it on a phone call, like, come on, dude. Like you're charging $8,000 to like thing. Yeah. We can't get sued. You can't sue someone that's going to just finish cancer, dude. Like, I dare you, sue me. Like,
yeah.
I'm not defaming her, but sorry, yeah.
No. Like, I think like even just beyond her, there's a couple of other examples out there I wouldn't really mention too much, but it's just like there's a lot of like these dating coaches, I would say they are the biggest like red flags. Like honestly, this is a red flag. If you're going to a coach who hasn't had a successful relationship, marriage, right? In 10 years. They're not even in a relationship, right? And they don't even have kids or a family. So they don't understand the concept of family. And you're seeking advice from them, bro, that's a red flag. You gotta get out. You're wasting your money. Like you if you want dating advice or something like relationship advice, go to people that are actually been in relationships for more than 5-10 years and actually married or actually have family. They know what a relationship is. They've been living with that person for like a decade. They've gone through like good and bads. They don't probably post on social media every single day, like showing their perfect lives because they know it's not like that.
Yeah.
And they obviously, and for them to have kids, because giving birth and going through that process, even as a man, like seeing all of that, I think that is where you actually really become a man. Like when you really step up, is like when you witness that. It's like when you witness that and you go through that, you have to really step up and really look after your wife and everything like that. So it's like that, I would say, is like if you surround yourself with those people like those, instead of seeking advice from some person who hasn't been in a relationship at all, or is just not even married.
See, I think that was a flag because
that's hypocrisy right there.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like you wouldn't go to a butcher and say, "Give me vegan."
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That's what
you wouldn't go to a vegan ask. Give me
maybe meat. You know, it depends what the meat you're looking for. But the meat, you know, you don't go to a doctor. Wait, no, we can't even draw comparisons because my brain's not firing right now. But yeah, you're right. Like dating coaches. I mean, there's also coaches that like life coaches.
Like,
that have probably not gone through much adversity in their lives, but probably read a few Tony Robbins books and call themselves experts, or read David Goggins' "You Can't Hurt Me" 10 times and mastered every quote and go, "Yeah, well, let me become a life coach." No. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, people like that exist. And coach, like, it shows you how fragile people are. If you need a coach to get you through things, then you are like, I don't want to say it, but it just like it's just like I don't like. There's no necessity for it. You're better off trying to do things yourself and failing quick and learning from it than paying someone money to teach you how to do something. There are certain times where you have to seek that level of advice for certain things. You provide that on your own development, right? Like for example, if your career development, you know, if you want to pay for a certification that's going to get you somewhere and they're going to teach you how to code or things, that's different. You know, some people's learning abilities are different. So people learn very differently. They might learn if someone's on their ass 24/7. You might have a coach for bodybuilding. Those are things that you probably like, you need guidance on, like expert guidance on people that know what they're doing. Dating, like, what are they going to tell you? Life coaches, what are they going to tell you? Like, and the biggest cop out I hear from people is like, you know, I shouldn't have to go through bad things in life. No, you have to go through bad things in life. That's what makes life life. Idiot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people that are so protective of like having the good times in life. And I'm not being a pessimist. I don't want to be pessimistic about it. Like, I've just gone through 6 months of treatment, you know, like, and those were the bad times, but there were good times in that in between as well. Like, it was a roller coaster. Like, it just happens. Like, it's just like how life is, you know, and can't expect everything to be perfect. But, you know, I think we should troll a dating coach. Like, we should hit up a dating coach and just fling them with like 100 questions. But I don't think people expected it from Sadia Khan. But bro, like that's wild.
That was next level.
Respect, bro. Yeah. She scammed us. She played the perfect scam and she did it well. Yeah, you know, like I'll give her respect for that. You thought like no seriously. Like she's scammed so many idiots out of their money that like good on her. Like where's the lie on that? Respect to her. Well, you've made a mockery out of people. You know, you made a mockery out of idiots, and that's fine. You've done your job. You know, but again, how is that like? But the perception part of it, right? Like the hypocrisy part of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible how much she lied about things. Even her credentials are all just apparently like all just
Oh, she was
photoshopped.
peak
It's
fake. She's
crazy,
done
yeah.
peak fake business here.
It's crazy.
She's done peak
Crazy,
fake
but-
business here.
But yeah, I think like
Yeah.
look, I don't think there's any issues with a mentor. Having a mentor, there's
Very different.
very different. Like, but see, there's a reason why you have that. Like, it's either business or bodybuilding or something. They're trying to improve an aspect of your life. In terms of relationships and stuff, I'll be honest. Like, you just have to accept rejection. I think people aren't okay with that. You just have to accept it. Like, you're gonna be rejected by people. You just have to be okay with that, and that's how you're gonna learn about yourself and people. That's like literally that's the advice that I'd give. Like for people in
Pay
general.
this guy $5,000. Pay this guy $5,000
Bro,
right
you
now.
just, honestly, you just have to be okay with rejection. Like guys are thinking about all these like psychological tactics and like trying to win girls or whatever. Bro, like it's not. You're gonna attract a girl who's gonna play games with you if that's how you're playing it. Like honestly, do you want to do that for the rest of your life?
No.
but like that's the thing is it's like we overcomplicate. Bro, it's like over engineering. Like you're trying to find the exact words, the exact script, the exact
Okay.
like identity you're trying to grow.
Why? Because guys are just logical.
Yeah.
We're too logical. Everything in our head is logical. Everything is logical. There's no emotions. And that's what I said earlier. Like logically, you'll think people will not betray you. People will not do this. People will not do that to you because you're going through this. That's very logical thinking. The moment emotions are involved, the moment self-interest is involved, the moment people's emotions and stuff are involved, it's a very different case. It's engineers that tend to struggle though, because they over-engineer. Get it? No, I'm joking. Well, you're an engineer. Sorry, I forgot. Don't call you out. No, look, I just you're right, and like I said, pay this guy $5,000. You know, that's what you got to do. You know, so. But you're right. People, I don't think some people have heard the answer no. That's the thing.
Not enough times, probably.
And I think part of like I like how you talked to them about mentor. Like a mentor will let you fail, and will want you to fail in that process as well. But it's how they guide you after you failed is important about a mentor as well. Like, and I'm not saying a mentor will set you up for failure. That's not what I'm trying to say. A mentor will, you know, give you the best, like, will provide you with an overall view of what things will look like, for example, or share their journey, or share their experiences, or share little things that you could do to improve. But you can't be. They don't like my experience and my perception of mentor is that it's not about perfection. It never is about perfection. It shouldn't be about perfection because at the end of the day, humans are imperfect. If you're perfect, like there's no perfect things to anything, right? Like we've made such cancer treatment's a massive one. We've made such great progress over the last 100 years. I would actually no, not even that. Last 5 years, we've made incredible progress. But we've made incredible progress on so many different types of cancer treatments. It's still not perfect. You know, there's still a process of it to get better and better and better. And I really hope in the next 10 years with AI, new research, new information, advancements, charity, whatever it is, that's going to get better over time. You know, so sorry, I've got hiccups, but like a mentor will, you know, a coach will try to perfect things. And they'll, again, like I'm not like from that perspective, dating coach, they want to perfect it. You can't individuals, but they fail to realize like individuals are so unique. Everyone is so different. Everyone's personalities are very different. You and I are very different people. Do you know what I mean? Like and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, compared to how I'd be with like, for example, you'd be with my mom, or I'd be with your mom, dad, parents, family, relationship, brothers, sisters, friends, like I said, family, cousin, whatever it is. We're all different people. We all have very, very unique things to us that makes us us. How do you work that out with people? You can't coach people on that on dating. You can't. You just can't. Anyways, we'll put up the bank details through, and if someone's taking that as being rejection, please transfer this guy $5,000.
But like, no, it's too funny. Actually, speaking of that as well, I think the reason why, because like I have a different perception on like teachers, mentors, and coaches.
Yep.
I feel like with the whole online coaches, I think it's caused the wrong perception of what coach really is. I think a lot of those online coaches are just teachers. Because a teacher, like the way I sort of distinguish it is, a teacher just tells you information. They just tell you what it is. They just give you a whole, university lecturers, like high school teachers, they're just giving you the what. Like, this is all the information, that's it. The mentor tells you how they do things. So they show you how they do things or how they would do things and how you can probably approach it. But a coach, like an actual coach, not some coach that's like a 20-year-old has never had any experience, like an actual coach will actually guide you to find your own path to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. Because like, for example, bodybuilding coach, like I know some people that have gone through a bodybuilding coach. What they do is they actually try and understand your personality, what you like to eat, what you like to do. They're trying to study and understand more about yourself, and they try and tailor a plan particularly for you. So they try and personalize it. That's what a coach actually does.
Yep.
So that's how I view it, and I think like that's what it really is. In things about relationships and stuff, yeah, you can't. There's some things you just can't be a coach
because there's
about,
no
yeah.
objective to it.
It
Like
isn't.
objectively,
Yeah,
people know
it
you've
is.
got to be kind, you've got to be good, you've got to be all this to your partner, right? That's how a good relationship works in general.
That's like human
Nature.
standards
That's human
core.
nature in
Yes,
relationships. It's not
yeah,
even
exactly.
between a man and a guy and a girl.
Yeah.
What if the girl's a psychopath? The guy's a psychopath. What if he's a sociopath? What if he's like needy? What if he's desperate? What if he's this?
Yeah,
Like, how do you do like?
attachment
What if
styles.
he's attachment issues? What if he's anxious? What if he's depressed?
It's complex.
What if he's schizophrenic? What if he's like? There's so much to it. So much to it. Humans are not simple things. We're not.
Yeah.
We're really not. We're the most complicated flesh and bones of things that exist with different organs and cells and blood and all these different types of things. You know, like seriously, like I've said things too many times, but seriously, like, but you know what? You appreciate a good scam. like seriously, like you can't help but appreciate a good scam because it's like, man, and you know what? And the dangers of it is, and man, the beauty of it is, you've done it for long, like you've run it for a while, right? Because usually scams are quick and in and out, right? You're done in like 3 months, 4 months. Scam, get your money, get out, right? Done. She's seen her, like I've seen this person on everything for like 4 or 5 years, at least. She's done a podcast with Mike Thurston.
That's where things really took off.
Yeah.
After that,
So she played it well. She's like, let me find someone that's well known, speak about relationships and what I know, what I've learned from books and stuff and whatever it is, or played it like a fiddle. Like, you can't, like, to run a scam for that long, man, well done. But but it shows the power of the internet as well. Like, for the internet not to, like, everyone just believing her for so long is interesting, because it just shows you that some people just should not be given a platform at all. And I said in the last episode, and let's use the wrong word, and I will edit it out when I get it. But no, I think we've made idiots famous. We made the idiots famous. Like, again, I don't want to go on this rant, but yeah, we made the wrong people. We're giving too much attention to the wrong people, I find. I think I vented about it last episode, right? Like, people just, it's the comparison aspect, You start, like, is your things meant to inspire people, or is it meant to
condescend,
demotivate people? Or is it meant to make people feel bad about themselves? Everything that I speak about during my treatment and post-treatment, and I hope people take it that way, is sort of an inspirational thing. It's not to, it's my intention is not to make people feel bad about themselves, unless you're not going to the gym, or unless you're not making healthier choices for yourself.
Unless you're not looking after yourself.
You're not looking after yourself, because I'm a clear example of someone that probably didn't make the best choices in their life in terms of their health, right? I'm not going to say that I was a smoker or anything like that. The thing with cancer, it's genetic freak, right? But I asked myself, could I have done more workouts? Could I have been in a healthier way? Could I have done better with my diet? Could I have done this? Could I have done that? Those questions are irrelevant now. But you do ask yourself those questions. It's hard not to. So intention is not to shit on people like that. It's meant to inspire people and go, okay, well, what can I take away from this and do better for myself? If that's the sort of content you want to put out, and that's why, people like Chris Williamson, great example. Probably the only one example I can think of right now, to be honest. Sorry, I'm sure there are plenty of other great podcasters and people that we can listen to, but he's just one example I can think of where his content's not there to shit on people. It's not. It's there. He has meaningful conversation with people that people can take away and go, oh, okay. Like you need those moments of, oh, okay, like a light bulb moment, and that's what it should be about. I've had like, and then there's absolute brain rot content out there as well about people just filming their lives like, oh, hey, there within the day, blah 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 blah. What is there to inspire there? It's a reality that doesn't exist. This is a guy that's I shouldn't say it, but I can edit it out. I can say it. I don't want to say it. I'm going to say it. There's a guy there.
Say it.
There's this kid that's 25. He's a mechanical engineer. He's got wife, kids, family. No kids, sorry, just wife, dog. Saw his content a few times. Like, why? Like, do you want a sponsorship? Like, do you want to be sponsored by someone? And like, what's the point of showcasing your life as a mechanical engineer for 12 hours a day? And people eat that shit up, and like, it's weird how humans love seeing the idea of other people's lives. It blows my mind. I've never understand the psychology of it. I'd like to understand why people do it, but there's something interesting about watching someone else's life as well. That's why vlogs and stuff are so popular.
Streaming is like been popping off lately.
Yeah, we should stream. Yeah, I could have. Sorry, I'm just checking how long we've got it for pretty well. We can keep going, but it's just like there's the content. It just doesn't make any. It adds no value. Like, I show Speed. He's just a character. He's streaming. His thing is entertainment. Right. So if purely for entertainment purposes as well, I think that's an okay reason to do stuff as well. Like, I personally think that, right? Because it's funny as well. Like, but the day in the life of, like, I sort of use words that I shouldn't be using, but damn, like, what do you want? Like, anyway, yeah. I don't want to call him out, that mechanic. I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure he's had things in his life that's happened, and I'm not gonna assume he's a bad person. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, what is your content trying to achieve? And you compare it, and the thing that annoys me is people are going to look at it. Some other 25-year-old's going to look at it that doesn't have much going on for themselves, unfortunately, and they're going to start comparing that themselves to it a little bit. It's hard not to be envious or jealous. It's a reality. People are going to be envious. People are going to be jealous. People are going to compare. People are going to think that. It's hard not to. You tell me, so, like, there's a single person out there that's never been jealous or never felt things. No, it always happens. It's life. Humans. Yeah. What sort of coach would you want to be if you were?
A coach?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think about coaching unless I've done that thing for 10 years.
Mentor. If you want to be a mentor, what sort of thing would you want to mentor?
But if I was to be a coach, it's honestly... coach, like I always think about like Shark Tank. Like I would be an investor or something like that.
Investor.
I would want to be able to invest into good ideas and be able to make it into a reality
and make money.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like make
so
money.
money's your driver.
No, like
money.
Well, like part of it is there, but it's more so just.
I'm only trolling.
Yeah. Well, like just to explain it, it's just like of course you need to be able to make money, right? You have to be able to assess can this make it because it's.
You're a greedy bastard, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll take the money for myself. I'll take the full equity, 100% equity over time. I'll do some tactics.
I'll give you $1 for 100% of your company.
Yeah, $1 for 100% of your company.
But I'll give you in return. I'll give you. I don't know anything,
but honestly, like I'd really love to be in that type of position where it's like more of it is just to make people's be able to help. I guess fund people's dreams. And the good thing about that is you're funding many people's dreams. Because if it succeeds, right, then that person who's the CEO of this company will be having a lot of other employees that are going to be feeding their families. So you're indirectly positively impacting many people that way. And you're also providing a service for like customers or something.
For sure.
People. So it's like, that's something that I would love to be able to do. But
we'll have a separate conversation, obviously, about Tara, but I think your values do align a lot to that aspect of it's a bigger cause than myself. It's a bigger piece. It's a bigger part of it. It's a bigger thing than me. And anyone that says I'm not doing it for the money is a joker. Everyone does it for the money, and everyone will do it for the money. But
Yeah, you need it for survival.
of course. But I find like you're an example, and there are plenty of other people that are also that example. Plenty of people that aren't that example, and you'll see the difference in consequences of that. Right? Is that this is a bigger thing than me. This is a bigger thing than money. Money is a byproduct of this. It's not the main product of this. And it's something that I appreciate. You learn a lot from that because it adds to the value. It adds to the aspect of your vision, your purpose, all those sort of things, like strengthening those values as a person. So, yeah, no, there's a lot of deeper things to ask there, which I'll note down, and I'm keen to have a conversation with yourself and your partner. Your business partner. You're that. You're like, yeah, me and my partner.
Yeah, my bad. But actually, yeah, coming back to that question, because I'll ask you as well, what do you want to become, like the coach or mentor?
Oh, I want to be a mentor no, I don't know. I said too many times. Actually, I don't know. Like, I'd like to be able to I think you just talk to people. Like I don't like. It's hard to say exactly what I'd want to be a mentor to or whatever. I think I'm in a position where I've learned a lot about treatment, and as a young adult coming out of cancer treatment, what that means out of my life. There's a lot for me to learn in the next how many years I've got left on this earth. And I can't answer that question now, but I just like to be able to talk to people and learn. And then convey, like, give my perspective on things, whether it's a perspective they appreciate, whether they don't. I can't control that. Not give myself the label of a life coach, because who's going to life coach? Like, I just don't even get that concept. Like, life coach, simple life, suffer, learn, repeat. Like, as pessimistic as it sounds, suffer, learn, repeat, appreciate the good times, done. Now pay me my 5,000. Like, no, I mean, look, everyone has different sufferings, and people need the right ways to deal with it. I appreciate that, and there are much more professional ways to deal with it than throwing $5,000 at someone that hasn't gone through shit in their life. Simple as that. It's direct. It's direct.
Like, honestly, a life coach. Other than Buddha,
I mean, what are you
Buddha
gonna
and
do?
stuff, they shouldn't even be thinking about life coaching.
What was that?
I was saying, other than if you're like Buddha or someone like of that, like prophet or something,
Yeah.
who's gone bro. Honestly, the best life coach is just read it or pick up like a religious book, just read it, or like read stories about it, and you learn a lot through that.
Yeah.
Or like, I'll be honest, like what I was trying to say as a joke was like, other than Buddha and like these other prophets and stuff, those make sense to be a life coach because they've gone through, based on the stories, they've gone through things,
Yeah.
Whereas anyone else, they probably haven't gone through enough to be able to give advice of like overall life.
I don't think anyone will.
Anyone will be able to.
I mean,
to be honest,
another life coach is go speak to elderly people. Go speak to people that are in a chemo chair. Go to speak to people that have kids and a family.
Speak to people in third world countries.
Third world countries. Speak to
that's a
people.
good point.
Speak to real people.
Yeah.
Like, real people will
that
give
have
you
been
more.
through real tragedies.
Exactly. They will give you more real life advice than a life coach. And if you want to get scammed by a life coach, by all means. And if you're a life coach that's scamming people, I respect your scam. Like, I respect your scam as well. Like, the world is big. This is Tim Dillon. So yesterday, and he says a lot of things. He's like, America's built on scams, or something along those lines. And it's the most. It made sense to like everyone's trying to do one thing or the other. I mean, look, Sydney's like that as well. Wherever there's humans, there are scams. And if you fall for one, fine. And I'll probably fall for one at some point in my life as well. Fine, it happens. You know what I mean? Like, it happens, right? So, yeah, you got to respect a good scam, though. I will say. It makes sense. It makes so much sense.
Yes.
Oh, post treatment. A lot of things to look forward to and talk to, man. But
Yeah.
I think we'll
Right.
end it here. We've had a conversation for an hour and 20 minutes, which is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. But no, look, we're done. Thank you for everything. I think there's a lot, and I hope we continue having these awesome conversations. And yeah, it's surreal to be done, but still a lot to look forward to and things to work through. So I'm sure we will. But yeah, and I'll speak about that another time. Actually, I'm gonna say shout out to Oscar Piastri, but I'll edit this part out. But no, thank you, and yeah, that's all I can say right now.
No, thanks, Shiv, for your quality time and everything, and obviously being here, talk about your experience and everything as well.
Yeah,
Share that.
Thanks for keeping that bucket.